All right, so if y'all want to know how to get rid of like substance abuse and addictions, right? I can help you out with that because I generally try to go and find like the root of an issue instead of like putting a band-aid over a grievous wound and shit. So I mean shit. If I had access to my goddamn old accounts, you can see that shit on YouTube. Um, when I was going through one of my first mental health issues, I immediately went to work on solving that issue without medication and with just lifestyle changes and shit, right? So uh, it was not easy, but through trial and error and God, I figured it out. And I posted videos in the midst of it, and then uh, very not very many in the midst, but some because I try to stay genuine, right? But more so at the end because I had something solid to give people. It's the same shit, really. But anyway, when it comes to substance abuse, right? So the main thing I was really looking for. Well, let me preface it with this. Like when I first got baptized, right? I quit everything. I quit smoking. I quit drinking. I quit nicotine. Whole goddamn fuck. I was agitated as a bitch. Like don't test me. Don't fuck with me because you might just get that monster type shit. And I didn't even notice it. I did that for like a good year because I know what the fuck discipline is. I know how to discipline myself because I know myself. And I would say that that is one of the first things that anybody should do. These like 7-step programs or whatever, or I don't know, you know, it's that's all like self discipline, but the true like end result goal that helps you is knowing yourself through and through. Because anything outside of yourself is not really you. Because you're the experience, right? So when you fully know yourself, know your purpose, and have achieved fulfillment, that's when you are at a stable enough place to fully get rid of anything, right? Because it's all a process. And one thing I was thinking to myself when I was just what's it called? Cold turkey. When I was cold turkey and everything, right? It was it's like god damn, I didn't drink, but now drinking was the only thing on my mind. And so then when I was like, okay, I did it for a year and some change. Let me reintroduce it so that it's not something that I have to avoid. Because if I can build up the strength in one area, then I can build it up in another. Is my thought process. So if I can build up enough resistance, I should be able to build up enough to be okay with it, like to have the self control, right? So I attempted that. So then I set a schedule. I was every 2 weeks I would allow myself to drink. In the beginning, I did that for like 5 months and shit, right? And that shit was stupid because like what I realized was during those 2 weeks, it's almost like thinking about something and then telling yourself not to think about it. It's really difficult. Um, so what I had to shift my perspective on was, okay, instead of doing that, let me congratulate myself because I stayed away from it for a year and some change. And not only that, I did more than that because I cut off everything. Uh, I sold all my things and gave the money to the church. I was really like hardcore. I was fasting like a motherfucker. Um, I was so skinny, people thought I was sick. I went real hard. Um, and so I was like, you know what? I'm the shit, right? And what I really do not like is motherfucking being put in a category. Like you can call me what you want, cause sometimes I'm that. Like I don't give a fuck. But don't you ever dare try to constrict my definition. Do not define me solely into one thing. I hate that shit like a motherfucker. Um, Cause most of the time people don't even fucking care to fucking really know me and shit. And so I mean, I guess I just come up against that a lot. But yeah, you have no idea the intricacies of who I am as an individual. And but you know, I ain't got time to convey all of that shit to everybody. So it is what it is. But it always like sat weird with me was like the first thing you have to accept is that you have a problem. Then you have to like take hold of that label that you're an alcoholic or whatever, right? I used to drink a goddamn lot when I was in fucking the army. But when I got out, I realized I didn't drink nearly as much. And I kind of understood. I was like, God damn. See, I'm reviewing myself. I'm looking at my own life, and I'm like, it was stress. And so I'm like, okay, so let me target the stress and let me notice that this is a method of coping, right? I was like, all right, bet. I was still hard on myself. And so then I was like, okay, let me give myself an amount of grace. Let me um, speak confidence and congratulate myself on other things that I've done and things that contribute proof that in my past I've done these things. So there's no there should be no doubt that I am capable, right? I've always pushed myself. I've always stood steadfast. I've always been someone who not only encourages growth in others, but won't settle to not have growth in themselves, right? And I'm like, that's me. I don't need the labels. I'm gonna take wisdom from wherever sources wisdom, may come from, but I'm a whole nother creature. So that was one thing. Figure out the stressor, understand the coping mechanism. That in the midst creates balance, right? Now I'm not just at the whim of everything. I'm actually in control of what I do, right? Because when you're just unknowing and you're just blind. You do things. You just act. That's not me. I'm very conscious. So that was one thing. That starts the first thing, balance. Understanding who you were in the past and what you've done. That was for me. But also, if you don't have that much like history, right? To understand that, like, hey, give yourself grace because you did not know, right? Those two things can keep you motivated through the process, right? So, whatever I do, I don't contribute to being labeled as whatever you think the fuck I am. No, I have a fucking method. It's just that I told fucking people, like, I was trying to be like, because I'd already conquered the shit. And I was like trying to help other people, but then they were like, oh, you're like foolproof method or whatever. Uh, we'll just use our knowledge of it to take away every avenue and advantage uh, so that you can stay in your whatever position or whatever. And yeah, that's not gonna work. But that was a shitty thing to do, to be honest. But anyway, I'm gonna continue. So it's very, very hard to heal in the environment that you are inflicted in, right? So I'm always open to change. Um, when your body becomes accustomed to a certain thing, um, your levels, I would say the homeostasis in your body has changed. It's shifted, right? Um, doing that cold turkey shit, it's possible. It's just brutal as hell. So I choose to be kinder to myself, right? And so I will slowly replace that with a healthier alternative. And brick by brick, block by block, I will uh, change my diet. I will go to the gym. I will pick up a new hobby and try to study it. Like expand myself in talents or skills or dedications, right? That way, there's a transition. And in doing that, right, I see myself as more capable. So what I'm doing is I'm boosting my self-esteem, right? And I've already labeled the three things earlier, right? Because really knowing myself, like I have ADHD. Sometimes it's not about um, you're hopeless and this is what you do. No, it's like understanding what type of person you are. And I have ADHD, which ADHD people have. So, like, say this is your body and your mind. ADHD people, their mind is somewhere up here and their body's right here. Normal people right here. This is why what? Stimulants, right? Raise it up and then they can concentrate. Otherwise, what is known as is was it unarousal? Yeah, it's an arousal issue. But not like that. It's mental, right? Like this is why people with ADHD are phenomenal in crisis moments. Like when shit hits the fan, we do what the fuck we got to do. We get shit done. Otherwise, like our body is like constantly like, oh, and I've mastered myself in multiple fucking areas and avenues in my life So ain't shit nobody can really tell me. I'm a fucking master. I'm gonna be the best of me. Cause that's all that really matters. You know what I'm saying? So when you try to like tell me I ain't shit or I'm this or this is um all I'll ever be, you can't relegate me to that. And I know you can't. Because ain't nobody really try to teach me shit in life. And I still fucking did it. You took away any advantage I could have had. But I just go within and I conquer. So I don't need to apply myself to your fucking timeline. Cause it's within me to do better and conquer anyway. So I like for real, I never really gave judgments on shit. And if Mel or my family or whatever thought that like these were like points that they could hit, I didn't stick with Mel out of fucking codependency. That was never the goddamn case. It was purely out of really just like me and my character. Me, I don't want to leave a person worse off than when I was with him. Uh, she was in a fucking horrible situation. Then she fucking used my empathy with the kids, and then the family ain't treated like shit. And I was like, God damn, like the fuck, man. You know what I'm saying? And like her and her kids sleeping in the goddamn garage when there's 2 fucking rooms in the goddamn house. I I I I couldn't. I was like, these kids need to fucking have a place to stay. And while I'm here, I'm not gonna be fucking perfect, but I'm gonna show them what a real man is, and then I'll leave. But nothing ever like, even when I got them there, because I did get them there, right? It was time for me to leave. Nothing was ever enough, and that's when I realized, oh, okay, it will never be enough. So I went all the way to the fucking final conclusion for me to fucking realize that this ain't it, right? But anyway, because it's more about me being okay with who I am at the end of the day. Don't nobody else really. They haven't ever known me. They've never given a fuck to know me. So it's really always been about like me. Do I deem myself good enough? And it'd be great to have somebody to bounce fucking legitimate ideas off of, someone who I could trust and shit. But I didn't have it. Everybody was always trying to backstab me, slight me, or change my motherfucking morals of who the fuck I know that I am and shit. So, knowing me, I'm like, all right, right? So, right here, we got this ADHD shit, right? I'm researching ADHD. I'm learning what are the things that they have trouble with. And it's like, oh, ADHD people would probably die earlier than most because they can't sleep and then they have substance abuse issues. I was like, what the fuck? This is why I was going so goddamn hard on owning my own business, because I was like, yeah, I have insomnia, and I want to live as long as I can. So I'm gonna fucking own my own goddamn business so I can set my own fucking hours. That was the pure purpose of it, of all of that. That's why I had so many goddamn business ideas, and that's why I had so many fucking books and shit, and because I wanted to fucking live. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that hard. You know, people don't give a fuck about me living or not because apparently they'll just dig my grave. You know what I'm saying? Right in front of your face. That's what they'll do to your ass. Uh, it is what it is, man. You could choose to go in that grave or not. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, knowing me, you weren't gonna sway that. I wasn't swayed by anything outside of me. If you can come at me genuinely with real concern and not judgment, then I'll listen. Cause I put a whole lot of shit on my own shoulders off jump. So either you're helping me or you're not, and that's where I base things off of. Cause I'll get there, and ain't nothing ever gonna stop me. Cause I've conquered too much goddamn shit. So for real, it's like fuck them. But um, second of all, um, after knowing yourself, uh, well, okay, let me back up. The other side of knowing yourself is knowing your traumas and triggers and stumbling blocks, right? So, what provokes you, right? And then what are your traumas? Because sometimes you're doing things because you're bored. ADHD. We're bored, so we just want to do shit. Otherwise, we're just like fucking like. I've always described it to people like not knowing how to swim. Like you can't even tread water. You just every goddamn motion in the fucking in your body is just to get above water. Everybody else, it seems like, oh, you're a functioning adult. You're doing just fine. To me, I'm like, my head is barely above water because I have to consistently stress my fucking self out to get shit done when I don't have my medication, right? Because I lost that at 25 when I got off my parents' insurance. So it went from $13 to like 500 goddamn dollars for the fucking medication that I need. So I didn't have it, so I had to look up ways to improve myself. I don't just have like fucking ADHD. I have ADHD in the 99th percentile. That's that's ridiculous. Like the shit I was able to accomplish with ADHD in the 99th percentile, I deserve a fucking standing ovation because there's only 1% of the population that has ADHD worse than me. This is how fucking focused. This is how much focus I have on a daily goddamn basis that I've had to cultivate. So don't tell me shit without trying to have a conversation or getting to know me first. Is all I would hope. And I don't even really hold that against people. But when judgments start to come around, that's when I'm just like, I don't really care anymore. That's me. So anyway, in that, what was that? Is it boredom, right? Is this thing really, does it really have a grip on you, right? Stumbling blocks, right? So then you stop associating yourself with certain people that would trigger this, right? And get yourself out of certain environments that would trigger this, right? That's what anybody would do, correct? But what happens when motherfuckers hold shit hostage that has sentimental value, and then where you gonna go back to when you've had a plan. You made a structured goddamn plan to get out of the area, to stop fucking with the people. But yet, because I told people that I thought really wanted to help themselves, they inhibited every fucking step of what of the foolproof plan I created, right? And then you make another plan, another plan, another plan. And people don't fucking hear you. They're not listening. Why? Because they fucking got their own goddamn dumbass judgments before they understand who an individual is. I'm not y'all, nigga. And I'm not the niggas you know. I'm completely a whole different creature. And whether you believe that or not, fuck you, because I proved it. It's what it is. But yeah. And what am I going to change when? How fast am I going to change something if this fucking whatever goddamn narrative is placed upon me, right? So again, I give myself grace. I know how to fix things. I know how to adjust as necessary. I don't give a fuck about what y'all do. I do shit my way because it's sustainable and it gets me sustainable results. I don't really have to struggle with shit. I learn and I move the fuck on. It's not a fucking quick ass goddamn solution to every fucking problem. You want to really change the inside of your being. This is why nothing they did could long term affect me, because my goddamn core is so fucking stable in who the fuck I am. Because I know me. I got all the goddamn time I was alive to figure out who the fuck I was. And these motherfuckers being distant and shit made that all the more possible. So, whatever. Another thing besides those things, right? Oh, in trauma, you want to, because a lot of the time people have so much goddamn trauma and shit. They don't even know where a lot of the fucking trauma comes from because they're so fucking busy or they fucking distract themselves. I take the time to sit down and try to figure out why does this seemingly random action always happen? Where does it stem from? And I'll go back into my past. And I will fucking, and it's not the first time or the second time or the third time. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you have to fucking express it to somebody. Sometimes you have to express it through something. But at the end of the day, you have to go back to that place and rescue the part of yourself that was lost. That's what you do. When you do that and you self-heal, it'll like, and this has happened to me 3 times within my life when I've done these things. It's almost like it'll be the same day, because when you do that shit, it will fucking irritate the fuck out of you. But it'll be like the same day, and you don't know when it'll end, right? But it's like, as soon as that fucking shit clicks, it's like there's a lens on your eyes, and it's almost like everything gets like 5 times brighter. And I'm not even joking. It's like you've regained a part of life. Like you can hear better, you can see better, everything's brighter, it's more vivid. And I'm it's the God's honest truth. Every single time I've hit that finish line for that piece of me, the world just gets brighter than what it was before. Um, I don't know if anybody's ever experienced that as well, but that's how it was for me. So when you fix all those things, it's not like you're perfect. You're not a perfect human being, but you've done that fight to get those portions of your soul back. And there's a level of security within oneself that just ain't shaken, to be honest with you. Because for real, that's the you that God crafted. That was who you were supposed to be from jump. If there wasn't other influences to that saw that light in you and tried to diminish it or hurt it or control it or groom it, you know what I'm saying? And that's powerful. But in that, right, the last thing would be purpose. Was it purpose, fulfillment? I don't recall, but it's make it four, if whatever. Um, Purpose. A lot of the times, purpose is way easier than most people think. It's just they're looking for their purpose too goddamn early. It's like, what am I supposed to do? Well, you're supposed to fucking live first. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to fucking experience to understand where you fit in the puzzle. You can understand your gifts and your talents and shit, right? But a lot of the times, purpose comes from your pain. If you think of God as like a quantum computer, you can think of us as running algorithms. We're all a portion of trying to solve the greater problem. When you think that way, it's like, oh, of course, I have to experience life. But it's always gonna mirror your true core self from who you were as a kid. Whoever that kid was, those hopes and those dreams, it might not be the same exact dreams, but those things will align in some way to your purpose. But you can't ask that while you're going through the process because you don't have God's sight. Like you can't see that where you fit in yet. So just if you don't know, just live. That's the simple answer right there. Just keep living. And the shit's gonna come to you. Because I promise you it's gonna be like, oh shit, this is what I need to be. This is who I am. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You have to run the program, you know what I'm saying? So once you figure that out, all your failures, all your fucking mistakes, all the shit you couldn't have even changed if you were you back then. Like, cause, life, right? It all starts to make sense. And so then that heals. You're okay with what you couldn't change. So one part of it is rescuing you. The other part is okay with what could not be changed. And then with that, you start to have a forward momentum, a direction. Now I know who I am, what I am, and I know where I want to go, right? The journey's still gonna be fucking crazy, right? Cause, goddamn, you'll have a whole motherfucking, what is it? A fucking, what is it? Rogues list or some shit. What's the superheroes got for Rogues catalog? You got a whole goddamn fucking set of villains after your ass, trying to fucking derail who the fuck you supposed to be, and then make you try to fucking think that like you ain't the shit. Well, that shit ain't gonna work for me, and it better not work for you, cause I done goddamn already dealt with every fucking thing that you try to throw at me. So I don't give a fuck about your timelines or your judgments. I know me. I know I'm not gonna settle. I know I will always fucking prevail, win, believe, have faith, hope, and fucking and the victory is fucking assured on my end. Cause I don't play games. I'm willing to live this experience. This is why I can be calm. This is why people may think that like, you know, uh, I don't take shit very seriously. No, I take things very seriously, but I have a long term plan, and I'm okay in the moment. This is a moment I'm experiencing. It's not gonna fucking crush my whole goddamn life just because shit doesn't go my way. Shit hasn't gone my way a lot in my life, but out of pure fucking willpower and whatever God put extra in me, like I've always fucking been able to hard work that shit and pray my way out of it. So it works. And so people could be like, oh, he's just goofball. No, because I'm fucking, it's a fun moment. I don't have to be Poindexter every goddamn moment. I want to live. I want to have fun. You know what I'm saying? I want to meet people. I want to experience things. That's just who the fuck I am. I like nice things. So I work hard to achieve and get nice things. But I'm not going to motherfucking be one of those millionaires that wears fucking like like a t-shirt and a fucking sweater, like average ass basic shit. I worked hard for the money. I want to show it off. I get that goddamn right. And I'm not. It's not even a show off. Like, cause as you can see, you can take all the goddamn shit away from me. Cause at the core of me, I'm stable. Like, I want my shit because I fucking worked for it and I deserve it. But it doesn't define me. None of that shit does. I've already defined myself. So I know I can get it back. I know it's already coming back to me. So it's just, all it is just, you're just really fucking just trying to irritate me like a goddamn larger than average fucking fly. Just out of the reach of my fucking, hands. That's, or the fly swatter. That's all you really are, because I already know it's mine. So you really just either, you're just a slight irritant, or you're just prolonging the inevitable. This is my correct perspective. I would have been overseas. I would have been working out. I would have been following every goddamn plan. Every piece of my, hey, take it easy on yourself. You're the fucking man. Nothing controls you. Step method that I've gotten through any and everything that I've ever been through. This is exactly what they're targeting. I don't beat myself up. Why should I? That just makes shit harder. You know what I'm saying? The world gonna beat you up anyway. Fuck them. I make a step. I look at what I've done. I take a breath and I keep it moving. Surely, slowly but surely, I get there every single fucking time. So I'm not afraid to live. Now, it's an issue when everybody in the goddamn world wants you not to live, but that's a whole nother concept. What I'm trying to say is, purpose. That's fulfillment, right? Fulfillment comes in multiple areas. What would have fulfilled you as a child? What will fulfill you now, right? What cause do you want to work for? And I'm trying to, I thought I had three for that fulfillment, but Just hitting a little brain fart. Oh, and I guess I can't remember exactly what I was gonna say in the beginning, but like, what would taking notice of like what would fulfill you that you didn't think would, right? Because you're a living creature. I guess that would be another thing. Like, oh shit, I never knew that. Like, that was pretty cool. That was dope too. You know what I'm saying? Like those things. And if you have real, concrete evidence from your past actions, right? You have to build up the the human you are to lead to this conclusion, right? If you can do that and then start to be in that being, that moment, because again, might just be another section of your life, right? You could do that shit for like 18 years, and then there's a whole nother fulfillment after that, because that segment of time built up the experience and the desires and the wants for another stage of your goddamn life that you didn't expect, right? So always be open to fucking live. And once you have all of that, there's nothing in the world that's ever gonna stop you or prevent you from achieving that goal. Because at that point, you are a walking project in motion that is healing and whole. You matter. You're doing the shit you want to do. If you haven't gotten rid of everything, you've at least regulated it to fucking, what's that goddamn shit called? Uh, Recreational, right? It's just something you fucking do. Cause you matter in this fucking world, and that does something to somebody. A lot of people just live their life and they're okay with because the job is a lot of money or whatever the fuck, right? And they think so. Then they just surround themselves with a whole bunch of nice things and think that's enough. They're not really fulfilled. You're always gonna be. See, that's the part that fucks people up, because now it may not be what society may deem as crazy or lower than or whatever, but now you got fucking crazy ass like habits, weird ass shit. You feel me? Like because you're not here fulfilling your purpose of serving your role. And so at the end of the day, you're fucking hollow. And what do you do when you're hollow? You fill that space with shit. These are the root causes to substance abuse and addictions. And this is my way to always be confident that nothing controls you and nothing's going to keep you away from your destiny. Have the faith and belief that you fucking matter. Have the faith and belief. Well, do the hard work and then have that history of hard work to propel you when times look shitty. And do the healing portions necessary to grab those broken pieces of your soul, because those things can be unconscious holes that you don't even know that'll lead you into a pit. You don't even know why you're fucking doing shit at some point. You know that those are the real issues for people. And then just be kind to yourself, because you fucking matter. No matter fucking what. At the end of the day, Every human being matters. It's just how much, right? And you can increase your worth, but that's a whole nother story. But a lot of people just want you to deem your worth on what you have, and if you don't have it, then you get all like, "Oh, I ain't shit." No, who said that? The world ain't by accident. So that means you ain't by accident. That means that you have a purpose. You matter. And if you don't matter to nobody else, I, I swear to God, you go to God and be like, God, show me I matter. Show me something. Because the world ain't showing me nothing. And it's dark. And I don't see no point in anything anymore. Everything's fake. Everything's useless. Everything's pointless. You get that real nihilistic point of view. But you really go to God and be like, God, He'll show you point blank you the most important thing to Him. And that's the goddamn creator of the universe. He'll put you above everybody and speed blitz your ass so goddamn fast. And every step of the way you'll know you are right next to his goddamn heart. Show you so much fucking love that can't nobody make you question what the fuck your own self-worth or love from anything or anyone else. He'll be the kind one when you too fucking hard on yourself. He'll be the hard one when you too easy on yourself. He'll be your best friend, your parent. And he'll be the crowd that claps for you when ain't nobody else fucking with you. And you gonna stand strong in the midst of most goddamn everything. And most importantly, you'll have peace and a hope that will never fade because it's already assured to you that you're gonna win because he already showed you who you was. I never used to know what the fuck my skill was, my talents were. I was 9 years away from my closest sibling, and they all had like great ass fucking talents and shit. Brother had fucking the whole goddamn living room. There's so many trophies from karate. He had to give them bitches away. My sister is a fucking amazing artist. Fucking paint, draw, whatever the fuck she does, it's fucking astonishing. My other